Convening having arrived, the Senate will come to order. Chair recognizes at this time the senator from the 56th.
Thank you, Mr. President. The journal has been read and found to be correct.
Thank you, Senator, for your good works on the journal. Is there objection to dispensing with the reading of the journal? The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there objection to the confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. All senators having bills and resolutions to introduce, please bring them to the Secretary's desk at this time. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions.
Senate Bill 452 by Senator Stone, 23rd, and others. The bill entitled Enactment, Title 17 and Title 42 of the OCGA relating to criminal procedure and penal institutions, respectively, so as to require a peace officer to take certain actions upon verification that a suspect is an illegal alien, to clarify and require certain actions by the Department of Corrections, sheriffs, municipal custodial officers, the State Board of Pardons and Paroles, and the Department of Community Service regarding persons not lawfully present in the United States, prohibit release from confinement persons who are illegal aliens, require the State Board of Pardons and Paroles to consider certain factors, provide for related matters, to repeal conflicting laws and for other purposes.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 453 by Senator Tiller, the 19th, and others. A bill entitled Enactment, Title 36 of the OCGA relating to local government.
State and local governmental operations general bill.
Senate Bill 454 by Senator Jordan and the 6th, and others. A bill
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 455 by Senator Parent of the 42nd, and others.
Reapportionment.
Senate Bill 456 by Senator Moles, the 53rd. A bill entitled Enactment, Part 14 to Article 6 of Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the OCGA relating to other educational programs under the Quality Basic Education Act, so as to provide that no high school.
Education and youth.
Senate Bill 457 by Senator Tate of the 38th, a bill entitled Enactment Code Section 22-1000.
Education and youth.
Senate Bill 458 by Senator Wilkinson of the 50th, and others. A bill
Finance.
Senate Bill 459 by Senator Bass of the 28th, and others. A bill entitled Enactment.
Health and Human Services.
Senate Resolution 845 by Senator Jackson II, and others.
Natural Resources.
Senate Resolution 846 by Senator Tilley.
Slogo General.
Senate Resolution 857 by Senator Beach of the 21st.
Transportation.
Senate Resolution 865 by Senator Miller of the 40th, and others.
Health and Human Services.
Senate Resolution 866 by Senator Beach of the 21st, and others.
Transportation.
Senate Resolution 867 by Senator Beach of the 21st, and others.
Transportation.
Mr. President, that concludes the order.
Secretary will read House bills and resolutions.
House Bill 670 by Representative Powell.
Judiciary.
House Bill 693 by Representative Harrell 106. A bill entitled Enactment.
Natural Resources.
House Bill 717 by Representative Kelly the 16th.
Transportation.
House Bill 780 by Representative Williamson the 115th. A bill entitled Enactment Chapter 1 Title 7.
Banking and Financial Institutions.
House Bill 816 by Representative Gavley the 16th.
Finance.
Mr. President, that concludes the order.
If I could have the Senate's attention for just a moment, I recognize that it is not time for points of personal privilege, but I would like to recognize former Senator Vincent Fort with us today. Thank you all very much. I tell you, good to have you back visiting with us. He was legendary in so many ways, not just on points of personal privilege, but the last day when he presided over this great body. He did it with great grace and dignity and a strong hand, as he always has. Thank you. Good to have you back. Secretary will read reports of standing committees.
Mr. President, Senate Committee on State and Local Government Operations has had to raise the following legislation structured board the same back to the Senate final recommendation. Senate Bill 389 do pass. Senate Bill 410 do pass. Senate Bill 440 do pass. Somebody Senator Kirk of the 13th. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Rules has had to raise the following legislation structured board the same. Following legislation structured board the same back to the Senate final recommendation. House Resolution 943 do pass. Somebody Senator Moles of the 53rd. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Veterans, Military, and Homeland Security has had to raise the following legislation structured board the same back to the Senate final recommendation. Senate Bill 395 do pass by substitute. Somebody Senator Watson of the 1st. Mr. President, Senate Committee on State Institutions and Property has had to raise the following legislation structured board the same back to the Senate final recommendation. Senate Resolution 537 do pass by substitute. Somebody Senator Harbison of the 15th. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Rules has had to raise the following legislation structured board the same back to the Senate final recommendation. Senate Resolution 453 do pass by substitute. Senator Moles of the 53rd. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Health and Human Services has had to raise the following legislation structured board the same back to the Senate following recommendation. Senate Bill 325 do pass. Senate Bill 351 do pass by substitute. Senate Bill 420 do pass by substitute. Senate Bill 422 do pass. Senate Bill 434 do pass. Somebody Senator Hunterman of the 45th. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Banking and Financial Institutions has had a service found legislation structured board the same back to the Senate final recommendation. Senate Bill 358 do pass by substitute. Senate Bill 376 do pass. Senator Ligon of the 3rd. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities has had consideration following legislation to report the same back to the Senate for recommendation. Senate Bill 396 to pass by Senator again of the 47th. And Mr. President, Senate Higher Education Committee has had consideration to follow legislation to report the same back to the Senate with following recommendation. Senate Bill 339 to pass by substitute Senator Miller of the 40th. That concludes the order.
Secretary will read bills for the second time.
Senate Bill 389 by Senator McCune of the 29th and others. Elections, time for opening and closing of the polls. Provides. Senate Bill 334 by Senator Unterman of 45th and others. Nurses, administrative purposes only. Georgia Board of Nursing to Department of Community Health transfer. Senate Bill 385 by Senator Hofstadter of 52nd and others. Nuclear generating plant. Recovery of the cost of financing the construction. Provisions change. Senate Bill 363 by Senator Brass of the 28th and others. Election primaries, time for opening and closing the polls. Provide. Senate Bill 375 by Senator Ligon of 3rd and others. Keep Faith in Adoption and Foster Care Act. Senate Bill 377 by Senator Strickland of 17th and others. State Workforce Development Board transfer to Technical College System of Georgia. Duties and obligations revised. Senate Bill 397 by Senator Watson of the 1st and others. Real and personal property. Municipalities to hire state licensed real estate brokers to assist in sale allow. Senate Bill 402 by Senator Gooch of the 51st and others. Achieving Connectivity Everywhere Act. Senate Bill 405 by Senator Miller of the 40th and others. Georgia Student Finance Authority. It grants for certain eligible students enrolled in an institution of the University System Georgia. Provide. Senate Bill 418 by Senator Wilkinson of the 50th and others. Selling and trade practices, banning the sales of goods, products, or items regulated sold at properly zoned retail establishments. Prohibit county, municipal, and consolidated governments. Senate Bill 427 by Senator Kennedy of the 18th and others. Child support. Filed verdict or decree. Court's discretion in making a final determination of support provisions change. Senate Resolution 774 by Senator Stone, 23rd and others. Joint Study Committee on Adoption Expenses create. House Bill 777 by Representative Green of the 151st and others. Historic Chattahoochee Compact repeal. That concludes the order.
Let me have the Senate's attention for just a moment. We do have a number of bills that are wishing to be to suspend the rules in an effort to have the bills first read and assigned. I think the minority leader has seen the bills as well, correct? And who's up first? You. Chair recognizes Senator from the 46th, the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent that the rules be suspended to allow for the first reading of these three bills to be filed today, Senate Bill 460, 461, and 462.
Is there objection? Without objection, the rules have been suspended, so the three bills can be read. Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 460 by Senator Beach of the 21st, a bill will be titled enacted.
Transportation Committee.
Senate Bill 461 by Senator Stone of 23rd, a bill will be titled enactment Chapter 10, Title 43.
Judiciary Committee.
Senate Bill 462 by Senator Albers of the 56th and others.
Economic Development.
Mr. President, that concludes the order.
It is now time for the morning roll call. Time for the morning roll call. Are there any motions to excuse? Chair recognizes first the senator from the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move we excuse the senator from the 27th for business outside the Capitol.
27th is the objection. Without objection, the senator from the 27th will be excused. Chair recognizes the senator from Bremen, the senator from 31st.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 16th for business outside the chamber.
16th, without objection, senator from the 16th will be excused. Chair now recognizes senator from the 55th in her lovely red today.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 5th district.
5th, without objection, senator from the 5th will be excused. Are there any other motions to excuse? You want to excuse him? Chair recognizes senator from the 34th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 36th, business inside the Capitol.
36, without objection, senator from the 36th will be excused. Now recognize senator from the 6th in her lovely red.
I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 7th and the senator from the 9th for business inside the Capitol.
7th and 9th, a little bipartisan action going on in the first row. Is there objection? Without objection, the two senators will be excused. Any other motions to excuse? Senator from the 43rd is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 41st for business inside the Capitol.
You said 41st?
Yes, yes.
No, 40. No, 41st
I mean,
is here.
42nd, I'm sorry.
42nd. Without objection, senator from the 42nd will be excused. Any other motions? Senators, please signify your presence by voting the yea switch. Secretary will unlock the machine. While we are voting, I would like to take a moment, if I might, to recognize in the gallery with us today Dr. Ed Rissler of the University of Georgia, and his social policy class is with us. If y'all would stand and let us recognize you. It is a great honor to have you with us in the State Senate. Dr. Rissler, thank you for the great work that you're doing as well. It is now time for our morning devotion. Time for the morning devotion. Would ask that all senators please take your seats and cease all audible conversation at this time as we are preparing for our morning devotion. It is now my distinct honor to recognize the senator from the 34th for the purpose of leading us in our pledge and introducing our chaplain of the day. Senator?
Would you stand and let's do the pledge to our American flag and then the Georgia flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Now the Georgia flag. Pledge allegiance to the Georgia flag, to the principles for which it stands, wisdom, justice, and moderation. It is with great pride and pleasure that I get to introduce to you my pastor. Our pastor for today is Reverend Kenny Alexander, who is co-pastor of the historic Antioch Baptist Church North in Atlanta. His father is the senior pastor, Reverend Cameron Madison Alexander, who was called to serve at Antioch 48 years ago. His mother is the owner of Barbara J. Alexander Realty. Yes, that's his mother, Barbara J. Alexander. Reverend Kenny Alexander is a third-generation Baptist preacher and was licensed and ordained at Antioch Baptist Church North. Reverend Alexander was initiated into the Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Incorporated, at Florida A&M University and graduated from Morehouse College with a bachelor's degree in psychology. He received his master's degree from Augustine University with a master's degree in industrial organization psychology. He has served as president of the Ministers Alliance as well as the presiding minister of Antioch Lakewood Mission for more than 20 years. Reverend Alexander has worked aggressively to combat social problems associated with addictions to drugs and alcohol. He has worked to create a variety of ministries to combat these challenges, which include Anaya's House and Luke's Place for men recovering with substance abuse, Ruth's Place, and that Ruth's Place is for women recovering from substance abuse, Matthew's Place for persons with HIV positive status, and the Land of Promise, Christian Homes, an affiliate of General Missionary Baptist Convention of Georgia, Inc. He also has received numerous accomplishments, which includes awards from the Concerned Black Clergy, the Rainbow Push, Augusta University, and other organizations. He currently serves as the board of directors for the Morehouse School of Religion. However, Reverend Alexander believes his most notable accomplishment happening during a revival meeting when he accepted Jesus Christ as his personal Savior. Reverend Alexander has been married to Lisa Catherine Gilbert for 30 years, and they were blessed to have 2 wonderful daughters and 3 adorable grandsons. I am so proud to have been anchored at my home church, Antioch Baptist Church North, before the pastor got there 48 years ago. I was baptized in 1959 and is still anchored, and I am pleased today that not only have I been baptized there, both my children and 2 of my grandchildren, John, who is paging today, and Janae, who is paging today, are 3rd generational from Antioch Baptist Church North. Because we believe we are Bible-based, Christ-centered, Holy Spirit led, and mission bound. That simply means we are about my God's business. I'll ask that my pastor come before you and bless this Senate this morning.
That may have been the best introduction and the best things I've ever heard about myself. Thank you to the dynamic and personable Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle, Senator Valencia C., and her 29 years of public service and the grace in which she operates. Thank you for the opportunity to stand before you today. On behalf of Antioch Baptist Church North, located here in Atlanta, and on behalf of our pastor, my father, Dr. Cameron Madison Alexander, I bring you greetings. And to you esteemed senators, I thank you for the hard work that you do on behalf of this country and especially the citizens of Georgia. I was born in Macon, Georgia. My brothers were born in Valdosta, and for a while we lived in Savannah, so we've been all over Georgia. We've lived here in Atlanta for more than 48 years, and I am happy to say that we are blessed to live in the best country in the world, and even more blessed to live in the best state in this country. Thank you for your individual parts in making this state a beacon for business, community, freedom, and liberty. It is good to see so many friends who have served here, Senator Davenport, Senator Jackson, Senator Anderson. It was good to see Vincent Ford, and it's good to have my friend with me from the House, William Bodie, and some of our church members are in the gallery, and it's good to see so many people in the gallery watching and learning about this political process. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 says, though I speak with tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become a sounding brass or tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became grown, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity. Let us pray. God, our creator, sustainer, provider, and enlightener, may you continue to bless this chamber and all within these walls. Bless these senators so they may be a blessing to the people of our great country and to the people of this great state of Georgia. Keep them strong, wise, and keep them empowered stewards of what you have left for them to govern. Bless their families, bless their constituents. Grant each senator and their staffs what they stand in need of. Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling, and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and ever. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Amen.
It's a great honor to have our pastor today with us, and we do have a resolution we would like to read to recognize the many wonderful acts of service in which he is committed to in his life. Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 827 by Senator C. of the 34th, a resolution recognizing and commending the Reverend Kenneth Lamont Alexander, and for other purposes. Whereas the Reverend Kenneth Lamont Alexander has demonstrated his commitment to the teaching of the gospel, witnessing Christ through words and deed, and addressing the physical, psychological, and intellectual and spiritual needs of others. And whereas the unmatched spiritual drive of the Reverend Alexander is a source of strength and direction for persons of all walks of life. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body recognize and commend the Reverend Kenneth Lamont Alexander and extend best wishes for many years of successful fellowship and leadership.
Is there objection to adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. Congratulations, Pastor. We would like to recognize our doctor of the day, and we are so proud and pleased to have a very, very good physician that's with us today. It's been here a number of times. And to recognize our doctor of the day, I call upon the distinguished senator from the 39th.
Thank you, Mr. President. A native of East Point, Georgia, Javier Duralde is a graduate of Woodward Academy. He earned his undergraduate degree with honors from Harvard University and his MD degree from Columbia University in New York City. He remained at Columbia for his residency training and eventually his fellowship in shoulder surgery. Dr. Duralde served his country as a major in the United States Air Force from 1988 to 1992. While in the Air Force, he served as Assistant Chief of Hospital Services, Chief of Surgical Services, and Chief of the Department of Orthopedics at the 20th Tactical Fighter Wing Hospital. His additional duties and accomplishments included support for NASA shuttle missions and the deployment of a major contingency hospital during Desert Storm. During the 1996 Olympics, Dr. Duralde served as the venue medical director for field hockey, and in 1998, Dr. Duralde joined the Atlanta Braves as an assistant orthopedic surgeon and assumed the role of lead orthopedist from 2006 to 2016. Dr. Duralde is board certified by the American Board of Orthopedic Surgery. He's an associate adjunct professor of orthopedics at Emory University School of Medicine. He joined Peachtree Orthopedic Clinic in 1993, where he's an active member of their volunteer team, which visits Haiti annually to offer services at the hospital Albert Schweitzer. He's an active member of Sacred Heart Church in downtown Atlanta and serves on the Board of Governors of Woodward Academy in College Park. I welcome Dr. Duralde.
Thank you. It's my honor and privilege and pleasure to be here with you today. I want to thank you and the entire legislature for all the work you do to ensure quality health care for the citizens of the state of Georgia. I want to assure you that the leadership of the medical community, including Medical Association of Georgia and the Georgia Orthopedic Society, feels a lot of responsibility in terms of supporting you, and we look forward to doing that more and more in the future. Thank you very much.
We have a special group we would like to recognize, and the Secretary will read a resolution.
Senate Resolution 775 by Senator Miller of the 49th and others, a resolution recognizing February 21st, 2018 as State Restaurant Day at the State Capitol and commending the restaurant industry of Georgia and for other purposes. Whereas the restaurant industry plays a vital role in Georgia's economic prosperity and the quality of life for all Georgians. And whereas the contributions and efforts of restaurant industry professionals to provide the highest quality food and drinks in Georgia, promote small business, and contribute billions of dollars as local and state tax revenue to stimulate economic growth are worthy of recognition. Now therefore be resolved by the Senate that the members of this body commend the dedication of the restaurant industry, applaud their service as critical to the economic vitality of the state of Georgia, and recognize February 21st, 2018 as State Restaurant Day at the State Capitol. That concludes the order.
Is there objection to adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. We greatly, greatly appreciate our Georgia Restaurant Association, and certainly this being a day in which we can honor them. I will tell you that I'm particularly pleased with all the farm-to-table activities that are going on around our state and certainly within our city, and this is a wonderful organization. We are honored to recognize them and to speak to the resolution and recognize our special guest. It is now my honor to recognize the President Pro Tem of this great Senate, Senator from the 49th.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's with great pleasure I come before you to commend and recognize the Georgia Restaurant Association. 1 in 3 of all Georgians have worked in a restaurant at some time, and I can assure you that's where good work ethic is taught, where manners are taught, where civility is taught, where our young people particularly have a chance to create a formative years for their future. We're proud today that February 21st is State Restaurant Day, and we have with us Karen Brimmer, Kelvin Slater, Jamie Durrance, Katie Jones, and Taylor O'Sullivan. And we're going to ask Kelvin Slater to share a few brief words with us. Kelvin?
Thank you. Thank you for your continued support in serving the restaurant industry. As the second largest employer with over 18,000 restaurants, we look forward to serving you tonight and in the future. Thank you.
Secretary will read another resolution.
Senate Resolution 610 by Senator Wilkinson of the 50th, a resolution commending Habersham County and recognizing February 21st, 2018 as Habersham County Day at the state capitol and for other purposes. Whereas 2018 marks the bicentennial celebration paying tribute to the founding of Habersham County, and whereas Habersham County continues to look with optimism toward the future while keeping the proud memory of its humble beginnings close to heart to share with the succeeding generation. Now therefore be resolved by the Senate that the members of this body commend Habersham County on its distinguished history and recognize February 21st, 2018 as Habersham County Day at the state capitol. That concludes the order.
Is there objection to adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. We are very honored to have Habersham here with us today. What a wonderful, wonderful county and a community that gives back and is beautiful with the rolling hills and at the foothills of our beautiful mountains along with the great streams. To speak to the resolution, it is now my honor to recognize Senator from the 50th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the Senate, it is an honor for me to recognize Habersham County Day at the Capitol. Habersham County is my kind of county, and I'll tell you why. The #1 industry in Habersham County is agriculture, and the #2 industry is tourism. So it's a beautiful place with rolling hills, and I am very privileged to have the opportunity to represent Habersham County. It's also the home of Piedmont College, and also they told me not to say the oldest, so it's not the oldest, but it is the first technical college in Georgia, North Georgia Technical College at Clarksville. We do have a group from Habersham County with us in the gallery today. If you don't mind, I'd like for you to stand up and be recognized at this time. Let's give them a hand. I'm going to try to introduce our guest from Habersham County today, Tim Lee. Tim, if you'll raise your hand. Tim is the Economic Development Director in Habersham County. Down here on this end, we have Dr. Judy Taylor, who's President of the Chamber of Commerce in Habersham County. My good friend Tricia Heiss, who is Head of Government Relations for the Chamber. Our Chairman-elect of the Chamber of Commerce, Amy Hulsey, who is Public Relations with North Georgia Technical College. And now at this time, I'm going to present the resolution to the Chairman of the Chamber in Habersham County, Philip Smith, and call on him to make some comments at this time.
Thank you, Senator. My name is Philip Smith. I'm president of the Habersham Chamber of Commerce this year. I'd like to share a brief story about Senator Wilkinson. His father, Warren Wilkinson, was my middle school principal, and I knew his office well. One day in 7th grade English class, I proceeded to launch a piece of paper across the classroom to the trash can as Principal Wilkinson walked in the door, and he looked at me over his glasses and said, "Boy, I'm about to turn you every which way but loose. Now, what does that have to do with Habersham County? Absolutely nothing except this. If you come to Habersham County, we promise to turn you every which way except loose because we want you to stay and visit a while. Places like Tallulah Gorge, home to one of the grandest canyons in the eastern United States. Habersham is home to some of the best trout fishing in America. Outfitters like Black Hawk Trophy Fly Fishing boast some of the largest rainbow trout. Unless you like wrestling with 3 to 12-pound trout, you'll hate it, but you'll love Abby J's food. Also, Colonel Joseph Habersham and his father, James Habersham, are known in Georgia. James Habersham, who came to America with George Whitefield in 1738 during America's Great Awakening. He was also the interim governor during Governor Sir James Wright's stay over what was then the Georgia province. Habersham, you see, has deep roots in the founding of our great state and in the original economic and agricultural engines that continue today. Companies like Fieldale Corporation lead our area in employment with some 4,600 people company-wide. Fieldale exports to over 48 countries and produces 22 million pounds of meat a week. They also unload 160 train cars of corn at its state-of-the-art, one of the world's largest privately owned feed mills. Then we have Ethicon, a Johnson & Johnson company that calls Habersham home. Ethicon produces 80% of the world's surgical suture. Habersham is a place just over an hour northeast of Atlanta that promises, promotes, and passionately pursues progress as we educate our children in our school system and in private schools like Tallulah Falls and Trinity Classical School, the Torch Christian Academy and Faith Christian Academy. Then we have North Georgia Technical College and Piedmont College that provides our community with an even brighter degree of skilled workers. Habersham Chamber, along with the Habersham Partnership for Growth, implemented the Economic Development Council led by Executive Director Tim Lee. Preparation through education, workforce development, that's what we're about in Habersham County. Habersham offers a niche that few areas can claim, with over 90 buildings that are available just minutes from our local airport and 5 hours from our port in Savannah. We're served by 2 major U.S. highway systems and a modern local airport in Habersham. Our industrial park is strategically located right next to the Habersham County Airport. This airport offers an appealing and inviting, dependable transportation hub for companies serious about growth, because we're serious about growth in Habersham County. Finally, you're invited to Habersham because we promote economic development. We provide a skilled workforce, and we're passionate about some of the most gorgeous landscape in the foothills and mountains of northeast Georgia. Habersham offers a quality of life that few experience. Come and visit with us. Thank you very much.
Well said. Let's do a picture right quick, guys. Y'all come on down. Ladies and gentlemen, let me have your attention in the Senate. We have a very, very special guest that is present with us. All of you know the United States Senator Johnny Isaacson. He served in this august body with me back in the day, was one of my early mentors, and was an individual that wasn't just pragmatic, but knew how to get things done for the betterment of not only his district, but the entire state of Georgia, and he has continued that great legacy there at the United States Senate as well. We are so honored to have him with us today. He looks great, he feels great, and he's here to speak to us today.
All right, thanks. Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Governor. Lieutenant Governor Cagle, thank you for that kind introduction and our many years of friendship. It started out serving in this chamber together, and I'm glad to be back in the Georgia Senate again. I'm glad to be back home again. Washington is a wonderful place, but it ain't Georgia. And Washington is a great capital city, but it ain't Atlanta. And it's great to be in the Georgia Senate and great to be with all of you today. And I want to do three things. One, congratulate you on your proposal, the governor's proposal, the lieutenant governor's, and the speaker's proposal on the income tax. I'm on the Finance Committee in the Senate. We hoped when we passed that new tax bill it would create jobs, but also would create money back to our taxpayers. You're seeing to it that takes place. God bless you for doing that. We're proud of you. That's number one. Number two, thank you for leading this state to be the #1 state in the United States of America to do business. Governor Deal deserves a tremendous amount of credit for being a great leader of 8 years who's brought business and prosperity and growth to Georgia, and it was always quality growth, and we're going to miss him. But I'm very proud of the job that he did and wish him the very best. And lastly, we live in the greatest country on the face of this earth. You don't see anybody trying to break out of the United States of America. They're all trying to break in. And for a very good reason. We're safe, we're free, and we're prosperous. But we are for a reason. And that's a legislative representation and a one-man, one-vote principle that makes our country different than any country on the face of this earth. You are the difference. Continue to make a difference, and Georgia will continue to be the brightest shining star in the greatest state in the United States of America, the state of Georgia. God bless you, and thank you for having me.
Well done, Johnny. That was great. Appreciate you, man, so much.
You're doing good. See this old restaurant. Thank you. Appreciate you.
We have another special guest we'd like to recognize at this time. Secretary will read a resolution.
Senate Resolution 834 by Senator Gooch of the 51st, a resolution commending Chase Elliott on his excellence in the field of NASCAR and for other purposes. Whereas Chase Elliott was born on November 28, 1995, and is a Dawsonville, Georgia native who is heir to the Elliott family NASCAR dynasty. Now therefore be resolved by the Senate that the members of this body commend Chase Elliott on his excellence in the field of NASCAR, and Senate Resolution 835 by Senator Gooch of the 51st, a resolution commending Bill Elliott for his amazing racing career and for other purposes. Whereas Bill Elliott was born in Dawsonville, Georgia on October 8, 1955, And whereas Bill Elliott has participated in close to 800 races, achieved 44 wins, collected 55 career poles, and amassed winnings of $73 million, yet he has remained a humble man and a positive role model throughout his vast successes, making it fitting and proper to call him a champion. Now therefore be resolved by the Senate that the members of this body commend Bill Elliott for his outstanding racing career and wish him many more years of success and happiness. That concludes the order.
Is there objection to adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. It is such a great honor to have Chase Elliott along with Bill Elliott, true icon. Certainly Bill, with 44 wins, is in a league all to himself. We are so proud not only of what he has accomplished on the track, but also what he's accomplished off the track as well. And Chase is following in those footsteps. What a wonderful individual, great, great family that we are so proud to honor here today. To speak to the resolution and recognize our good friends on the dais today is recognized Senator from the 51st.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. It's an honor and a privilege to have two of my constituents here with me today. When you think of Dawsonville, Georgia, a name comes to mind. That's the Elliott name. The Elliott family has a long history of car racing, not only in the mountains of North Georgia, but all over the country today. As you know, that Bill Elliott was born in Dawsonville, so was his son Chase. Chase now lives in Dahlonega, Lumpkin County. A lot of people don't know that, so I claim him to be a hometown kid of my own here in my hometown. Bill's victories go back early in my childhood. He actually won the Daytona 500 in 1995. He won the Winston 500 at Talladega and the Southern 500 at Darlington, which earned him the first $1 million bonus in NASCAR, which gave him the nickname $1 Million Bill. That's what Bill Elliott's nickname was growing up as a kid. He was always Wild Bill from Dawsonville to me and others. He was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in January of 2015. He has participated in over 800 races. He's achieved over 44 wins, collected 55 career poles, and he's amassed winnings of over $46 million. That's a lot of money, Bill. $46 million. Now, Chase probably made all that already in his first 2 years of racing. He is a record 16-time winner of the National Motorsports Press Association's Most Popular Driver. Bill took himself out of the running on that because he kept winning it year after year, and he finally said, I don't want to be a candidate for that prestigious award anymore, so he took his name off the list, or else he'd probably still be getting that award. He has created the Bill Elliott Driver Development Program, which mentors young drivers through highs and lows of racing life as a way to pay forward the years of support, guidance, and hard work from family, friends, and fans that catapulted his stardom in the NASCAR series. Now let's talk a little bit about Chase. I can tell you a personal story about Chase. About 6 years ago, now Chase is 22 today, about 6 years ago, I ran into Chase down at the University of Georgia football game with one of his buddies from back home. Chase wasn't old enough to even drive a car, but he was already driving at speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour on a racetrack. The guy couldn't even drive himself home that day, but he could drive a race car that fast, so I thought that was impressive. A friend of mine didn't know who he was, and he said, who was that guy you were just talking to? I said, you wouldn't believe it. But anyway, in 2014, Chase won the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship and became the Rookie of the Year title at the age of 18 years of age. He became the youngest driver ever to win a national title. In 2018, this year, NASCAR announced that Chase Elliott would inherit the historic and iconic number 9, following in the footsteps of his father, Bill. So Chase founded the Chase Elliott Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing support and financial assistance to well-qualified charitable organizations with an emphasis on helping others live healthier and happier lives. For each poll this year that Chase wins, he has decided to donate $1,000 to Children's Health Care of Atlanta to support Not Your Average Summer Camps, which hosts camps for kids with unique medical and physical needs. Guys, I can tell you, and ladies, I can tell you these two men do a lot for our communities in North Georgia. They've done a lot for the sport of racing. With us today, you'll see Ed Clark, who's the president of the Atlanta Motorsports Parkway down in Atlanta, the Speedway. This weekend is the race Saturday and Sunday. We'd love for everyone to come out. We want to help promote this event. It's one of the biggest tourist attractions in our state. NASCAR is still the biggest sporting event in the country, and it's a great honor to have both the Elliots here today. And I'd like to first call on Chase to say a few words, and then following him will be his father, Bill. Y'all give them a big welcome to the Senate.
Good morning. I'm not worthy of saying a whole lot here, but just will say I'm a proud resident of Georgia. Very proud to call this state my home. Very appreciative of the support that the state has given me in my career and trying to further what I want to do, and proud to support things like the Children's Health Care of Atlanta and as much as we can in North Georgia. So thanks for having us this morning. Hopefully see some of you at the race this weekend, and y'all have a great day.
You know, Steve, you'd make a good politician, wouldn't you? He's working on it. He's still in training. I echoed the same thing Chase said. You know, I love this state. Georgia's been so good to me over the number of years that I've raced, and you guys have really supported us and my family, and it makes a lot of difference. I mean, I love this place. I'm a little prejudiced more to North Georgia, but anyway, that's kind of where I grew up. But like I said, y'all have done a lot for us, and we really appreciate it and everything you guys do, and hopefully we'll see you at the race this weekend. Thank you, guys.
We have another special group we would like to recognize at this time. Secretary will read a resolution.
Senate Resolution 661 by Senator Sims of the 12th, a resolution commending the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce and recognizing February 21st, 2018 as Albany-Dougherty County Day at the Capitol and for other purposes. Whereas Albany-Dougherty County plays a key role in supporting Georgia's economy and in establishing Georgia as the #1 state in which to do business. And whereas the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce has led and represented the interests of Albany-Dougherty County and the Albany area with distinction for 108 years. And whereas the Albany Area Chamber has established and advanced strategic cross-sector partnerships that combine the efforts of state and local businesses, as well as civic, educational, and governmental leaders in order to create a climate that is conducive to economic growth and opportunity. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Senate that the members of this body commend the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce and recognize February 21st, 2018 as Albany-Dougherty County Day at the Capitol. That concludes the order.
Is there objection to adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. It is such a great day to honor and recognize Albany and Dougherty County and for all the great work that they're doing. I will tell you, for many of you that may have not been through the community in some time, it is a community that is redefining itself in significant ways and has a bright future for greater prosperity. In large part by as a result of the great leadership that they have. The mayor does a wonderful job, and she is here with us today. I have a wonderful chairman as well. And to speak to the resolution and recognize our special guest, it's now my honor to call upon the senator from the 12th.
May I have your attention, colleagues? Thank you. This morning, It is an honor to present to you the Albany Chamber officials and representatives from Albany, Dougherty County, Georgia. To represent the chamber, we have Ms. Tammy McCrary, who is chair lady of the Albany Chamber, Mr. Matt Reed, who chairs the governmental affairs for the chamber, and our mayor, Dorothy Hubbard. And we have two other guests that would speak to you shortly. Education is the foundation to community growth and stability. Quite often, I hear the Lieutenant Governor say, each morning in Georgia, we rise to over 100,000 unfilled jobs in Georgia. 25% of them require a 4-year degree, and the other 75% require either some form of certification or a 2-year degree. It is not an anomaly that Albany State University has survived 100+ years and continues to grow and to play a vital role in Albany, Southwest Georgia. Of course, we know over the last 2 years there was a consolidation brought about between Albany State and Darton State College. The Commodore Conyers College and Career Academy is another powerful, long overdue educational pillar of the Southwest Georgia community of Albany. This college and career academy already has record-breaking enrollment and an unbelievable academic presence in the employment sector. Today, the leaders of these two institutions have information that they want to share with you, my colleagues and my friend. First, we will hear from the president of Albany State University, Dr. Marion Frederick. And secondly, we will hear from the CFO of our College and Career Academy, Mr. Chris Hatcher. Please give them your attention. Thank you.
Good morning, and good morning from the Golden Rams of Albany State University. Thank you also for allowing me to take a quick minute to tell you thank you for the support that you give to the University System of Georgia, as well as, in particular, Albany State University. Albany State is a university that's steeped in history, and we're looking forward to all of the accomplishments and the support that we're giving to the state of Georgia. We're looking for the positive impact that our students will make in the state as we're getting them through attainment of degrees at Albany State. Albany has over 5,900 students, 700 faculty and staff, and all are ready for success. I want to personally say thank you to the Senate, the Lieutenant Governor, as well as Senator Sims, for helping us to attain our Fine Arts building. That had been a fight that we were trying to do for over 20 years at Albany State, and we finally have that. That is allowing us to teach students who may not have had that opportunity in the past to be in a facility that's facilitating all of the education that they deserve to have. So we're looking forward to continuing to retain those students, as well as positively impact the economics here in the state of Georgia. Thank you very much from Albany State.
Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today and simply thank you for your investment in education and in particular your investment in our College and Career Academy in Albany. Our business community is incredibly excited about the College and Career Academy, our students, our parents, and our community at large, and we look forward to leveraging the investment that you've made in education with our local talent and our local investment as well. Senator Sims, we are so proud to have you as our senator and everything that you do for education and for our part of the state. We appreciate it. And Governor Cagle, thank you so much for your vision and leadership with the College and Career Academy Network. It is absolutely making a difference, and we look forward to a continued partnership. Thank you.
We have another special group we would like to recognize.
Senate Resolution 704 by Senators Davenport of the 44th and others, a resolution recognizing and commending the Atlanta chapter of World Wings International Incorporated and for other purposes. World Wings International Incorporated is a global philanthropic organization of former Pan Am flight attendants who are dedicated to raising funds for charity. And whereas World Wings International Incorporated is in several thousand members in 31 chapters scattered throughout the world and has donated more than $1 million to CARE out of its total charitable givings of more than $8 million. Whereas the Atlanta chapter of World Wings International Incorporated was chartered in 1982 and focuses on supporting Atlanta-based care and local charities. And whereas it is abundantly fitting and proper that the outstanding accomplishments of this extraordinary organization be appropriately recognized. Now therefore be resolved by the Senate that the members of this body congratulate the Atlanta chapter of World Wings International Incorporated, committed for its many outstanding contributions on behalf of the citizens of Georgia, and extend best wishes for its continued success. That concludes the order.
Is there objection to adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. It is a great honor to welcome our special guests and speak to the resolution. At this time, it is my honor now to recognize the distinguished senator from the 44th.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, I am so honored to recognize a wonderful group today, World Wings International, the Atlanta chapter, which is a philanthropic organization of the former Pan American flight attendants. This group just celebrated 35 years as a chapter chartered in 1982. Their members, mostly Americans, plus others hailing from Japan, Germany, France, England, Spain, Belgium, Puerto Rico, Sweden, and Norway. And this resolution has bipartisan support, mostly women. But the World Wings International has served as several thousand members, 31 chapters scattered throughout the world, and support local charities and Atlanta-based CARE. And we had a representative from CARE here earlier today. This organization has raised over $8 million, with CARE receiving more than $1 million. Among them, the Atlanta chapter has supported Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, Atlanta Smiles, contributing more than $500,000. Chapter members include attorneys, business owners, senior paralegals, teachers, TV and radio personalities, and many others. Atlanta members reside in Metro Atlanta, Savannah, and 6 other states in Germany. This is an important note that I want you all to remember. While these ladies were flying, their local members have been hijacked, survived and rescued others from a terroristic aircraft bombing, resulting in numerous casualties, narrowly escaped a foreign kidnapping attempt, flew in and out of war zones under fire and carried goodies to hospitalized Vietnam soldiers, delivered 2 babies in flight, purchased clothing and food to take to the poor in third world countries where they flew, participated in Operation Baby Lift, and flew the final evacuation flight from Tehran and performed first responder duties in the sky. So we are just so honored to have them today, and they look good, don't they? Standing here with me today is the Atlanta president and World Wings International Board member and senior paralegal specialist at Austin and Byrd, the chapter president, Ms. Leslie Manning. Raise your hand. Ms. Joan Policastro, the Atlanta chapter treasurer and charter member of Pursuit with Delta Airlines. Carolyn Davenport, charter member, former vice president, and certainly my sister. Raise your hand. And Nancy McAllister, who is the World Wings International president and the charter member and the former Atlanta chapter president. We also have members and their families in the gallery. Would you all please stand? Let's give them a Senate welcome. I'm going to call on the chapter president, Ms. Leslie Manning, to make a few remarks, after which I'm going to ask Ms. McAllister, the international president. First.
Oh, look at that. Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. Look at that. So obviously, we've done well since we left the skies of Pan American. And as you all know, flying these days is just a tad different. Anyway, I want to tell you that we've done a lot of interesting things since we left Pan American, and we're very, very happy to be residents of the Atlanta metro area and other parts of Georgia and also the other states. Thank you so much today. It's really an honor. We appreciate it.
We have something here from Ms. Nancy McAllister, who is the international president, and that's a big deal. I think she lives in the senator from the 21st district. He signed the resolution. But Ms. McAllister was employed by Pan American Airways as a stewardess, then an account executive with Pan Am Atlanta, employed by IBM as major meetings planner. With her affiliation with Pan American Airways as a flight attendant, and her father, Captain Kiefoff, as a Pan American World Airways pilot, she has traveled to more than 110 countries. She is the former president and Atlanta Charter chapter member, and she chaired the 450-person convention held in Atlanta in 1992, and then she chaired the 725-person convention held in Savannah in 2015, brought people from all over the world to Georgia with a combined economic impact to the state of Georgia of about $1.3 million. She has served on the board of directors of the World Wings International, and now she serves as the international president. She is a board member of the March of Dimes, Children Healthcare, cystic fibrosis, and the list goes on and on, where she helped raise millions of dollars. Ms. McAllister is married to Brooke McAllister and has one son, Jonathan. Ladies and gentlemen, the international president of World Wings International, Ms. Nancy McAllister.
Thank you, Senator Davenport and Lieutenant Governor Casey. We're delighted to be here today, and we certainly are very graciously accepting this honor that you're bestowing on us. We, as Gail just mentioned, we are a global organization, and locally we support many chapters, but our international charity is also here in Atlanta. It's CARE, it's just down the way a little bit. So we have members who fly at their own expense to work on projects all over the world. So again, thank you so much.
Let's do a picture together. We're going to come down and step here. We have another special guest we would like to recognize in the body. Many of you know that Barry Loudermilk served time here in the Senate. What? Served time, yeah. There was time. Yeah, it was not purgatory, I can assure you. But anyway, he was a great, great member then, and he's even a better member in Congress. It is a great honor. Please join me in welcoming United States Congressman Barry Loudermilk.
Thank you, Governor. And look, I know what you've got a lot to do today, and you're going to be very busy. It's great to get back here. I'm a little bit jealous because here in a few weeks, you guys are going to sign and die, and you'll be done. And we'll still be there working and arguing and trying to get some things done. But let me tell you, Met with the governor earlier today, and he told me that you guys are wanting to cut taxes for people in Georgia. Do it. Please do that. That has done more, what we've done nationwide has done more for the average American than anything else that we could do as a legislative body. The response I get when I got back home that next weekend, I'm sitting in church and I hear somebody 2 rows behind me going, "Hey, thank you, thank you. It makes a big difference." Next week, everywhere I went, we were hearing thank you. And from somebody in Congress to hear somebody say thank you, that's incredible. But what it shows is it was something meaningful for those people that they had in their back pocket for that moment, because many of them told me that they were going to do something for their kids, whether it's for their college, it may be to actually finally go and get a car for the child to get into the workforce. It makes a difference. And when you do that here at the state level, it'll even make that much more of a difference for everybody here in Georgia besides our economy. And you know, when the economy goes well, everybody seems to be a whole lot happier. And if there's anything that we need in America today, is that hope, that there's better over the horizon, and we're starting to see that people are believing once again that our better days are ahead of us. The other thing I would say that I'm envious of you is the things that you do matter. You're much closer to the American people than those in Washington, D.C. And one of the goals that I have up there, as many of my colleagues, especially those of us from Georgia, is we want to do more to make you matter more, to lessen the influence of the federal government and make what you do here, once again, the predominant impact on the lives of Georgians. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep working hard. I miss being here with many of you, and I'm going to celebrate with you when you finally are able to finally cut. That's something that many of us worked on when I was here in the Georgia legislature that we weren't just able to do, but I think you're going to do it this year. And God bless you, and God bless America. Thanks.
Senator from the 25th, you like to recognize Senator from the 25th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today, Senate members, to recognize that today is a special day for me. It's Jackson-Butts County Day. I think most of my group has gone to lunch over the Empire Room, which all you are welcome to join us if you like. But on the floor with me today, I've got our mayor from the city of Jackson, Kay Pippin, okay, our head of Development Authority, Laura Hale, and then our chairman of the County Commissions, Russ Crumley, who's also my neighbor and also my first cousin. So we're a small town, and it's not uncommon to be related to a lot of people who are in and around the town. But we're a very proud community, a county of about 24,000, located about 40 minutes south of here. We're one of the safest communities in the state of Georgia, and we're also one of the communities that thrives on local tourism with our state parks and the oldest lake in the state of Georgia. Please come, and also some pretty good barbecue. We got Fresh Air barbecues that we're known for, and Buckner's as well. So welcome y'all to come down and see us sometime, and appreciate our folks here from Butts County, and come join us at the Empire Room. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Great to have Butts County here with us today. Appreciate you very, very, very much. Also in the gallery, I'd like to recognize my good friend Damon Gibbs, who's the superintendent of Dawson County, and his lovely wife as well. Thank you all for being with us. Any unanimous consents, senators wishing to rise on a point of personal privilege, let's be mindful of the time, and the brevity would be greatly appreciated. Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd first.
Good morning, Mr. President, fellow senators, colleagues, friends, and y'all. This will be brief, but I want to take time out to recognize one of my constituents, Mr. James C. Birdsong Jr., for his numerous accomplishments, in particular, his new book out, The Best Is Yet to Come, A Testimony of One Young Man's Redemption. Please put your hands together and recognize him today. Thank you. I yield the well, sir.
Chair recognizes Senator from the 36th on a point of personal privilege. I do not see the senator from the 36th. Nope, she's here. Is brevity in your ability? It's in your vocabulary, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I rise today on a very serious topic, and to salute two organizations that have come down today to deliver a message on the need for our nation and our state to change course on the question of gun safety. Moms Demand Action has filled up Liberty Plaza across the street. Sadly, the state officials in charge of that sound system wouldn't turn it on, but a bullhorn always comes in handy. But that crowd can make their voices known in many, many ways. In addition to rallying, they will be seeking an audience with their legislators throughout the day. And it's a message that's not going to go away. You know, there's a lot of debate on the media, on the airwaves, television, radio, and print media about whether the clarion call that we hear from the students of the Florida high school in Parkland that was the scene to the dreadful massacre last week, whether those student voices are going to be a will-o'-the-wisp, a voice in the wind that's soon blown away and forgotten. And I say to you that we are, in all likelihood, on the cusp of a newly energized movement to get this nation and this state in the right place on gun safety, gun control, common sense gun policy. We've sadly seen that bill after bill in the Georgia legislature that promotes more guns in our society, promotes more access to guns, promotes less control over the possession and use of dangerous weapons, seem to fly through. There are bills that are lying fallow, asking for very simple things, very simple policies. Bump stock. Well, let's see, the Vegas shooter used a bump stock. That's when most of us in this legislature even learned what a bump stock was, along with the rest of America. But it turns a dangerous weapon into a completely automatic weapon like a machine gun. We're living in a society, our politics in this country on guns are sadly driven by a huge munitions industry that's managed to sell and place in the hands of Americans 300 million weapons, and they're still not satisfied yet. I met with a mother outside at the rally who lost her 14-year-old because we're not insisting that gun owners be responsible and secure their weapons when they own guns. We've not been willing to take up the bump stock legislation that has been entered in the House. We have not been able to.
Time has expired.
Thank you, and please give attention to those who are down here today lifting their voices, the Presbyterians for a Better Georgia, Moms Demand Action, and many students. The students, I think, the youth, the new generations are going to lead us to the pathway of common sense gun policy, and I urge that day comes quickly. Thank you.
Right now we have like 10 people to speak. So this is a number of individuals wishing to be recognized. Chair recognizes Senator from the 20th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I truly will be brief. We've heard a lot this morning from the fine folks from North Georgia. I want to recognize some fine folks from Middle Georgia. I've got the Perry Leadership Institute with me here today. They're in the gallery. We're mighty proud of them. And Perry is a great place to live, work, and play because of folks like these and their leadership. And we're proud to be the home of the Georgia National Fairgrounds. But if you all would, please join me in welcoming the Perry Leadership Institute.
Chair recognizes Senator from the 34th on a point of personal privilege. Anyone see the senator from the 34th? In her absence, we will move to the senator from the 14th on a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. Many times we come down here to honor people. Denise and Lee Castro up in the Bartow County area volunteer a lot of their time. In the last 10 days, they've not only lost a mother, a father, and now a father-in-law, all in 3 days. And so I'd ask if we just take a moment of time to just pray for this family that continues to give back to Northwest Georgia.
Let me have the Senate's attention for a moment. The Senator has requested prayer for the family. Would you please join us in prayer? Let us pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. It is, we have another good congressman that is with us to join us. We are honored to have Jody Heiss present. We appreciate the great work he's doing for us in Washington and the wonderful partnership that we have. Please join me in welcoming United States Congressman Jody Heiss.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and what an honor it is to be here with each of you and to see so many friends and smiling faces. It's really indeed an honor to be with you. I just want to say hats off to everyone from the governor to each of you for an incredible job you're doing. We've got a lot in Washington to learn from you, and you are paving the path and continuing to make Georgia the best place in the United States to do business. So hats off to you and sincere thanks in every way. I recently was put on the House Armed Services Committee. I'm greatly honored to be a part of that group and to be working with many of you to not only counter terrorism and make sure our military is ready and defend the homeland, but in every way to continue setting policy that will keep America in the forefront. And I look forward to working with many of you in that regard in watching over the awesome installations we have in Georgia as well. But let me just conclude by saying again, thank you for allowing us to be here today. A great privilege. And let me just urge you, while you right now have so many plates spinning, take time to pray for our country. We are a country right now that desperately needs God in every way. And our founders gave us a land where we, as pillars, were religion and morality. And now more than ever, we need to love God and love people. So please pray for our country. Sincerely, God bless each of you, and thank you from the depths of my heart for the great work that you do and for allowing me to be here with you today. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Senator from the 42nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we have a lot of groups here today at the Capitol, and one of the groups that I wanted to tell you about that I'm excited are with us today is representatives from the Junior League of Atlanta. Two of the leaders are here with us on the floor right now, Rebecca Henry Murphy and Carla Smith. Junior League of Atlanta is an organization of 3,500 women representing all communities in Atlanta. For over a century, League women have greatly transformed our city with the establishment of such major organizations as the Atlanta Speech School, CASA Fulton County, and Literacy Action. Today, the League's movement focuses its community impact work in human trafficking, poverty, and education, working to ensure the health and welfare of children, women, and families in Georgia. Colleagues, please join me in welcoming and thanking the Junior League for all that they do for our state and city.
Chair recognizes Senator from the 19th. Please give the Senator your attention. He will be requesting a moment of silence as well.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. As many of you may have heard this morning when you were driving in, the Reverend Billy Graham passed away earlier this morning. William Franklin Graham Jr. was born on November the 7th, 1918 in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was an advisor to 11 presidents, an author, an evangelist, and he preached over 400 crusades in 185 countries on 6 continents. I think we can agree that the world was a better place because he lived and because of how he lived. And at this time, the Reverend Billy Graham was 99 years old, and I'd like to ask for a moment of silence from this chamber.
The Senator has requested a moment of silence. Let us pray.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Amen. Thank you, Senator. You're absolutely right. Chair recognizes Senator from the 6th at this time. Moment. Points of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. We all have different roles outside of this chamber. I'll tell you the most important one to me is being a mother. I have an 8-year-old daughter who's a 3rd grader at Morris Brandon Elementary. On Friday, she told me when she went to school that she found her teacher crying in the classroom. You see, the teacher had a daughter that she had dropped off at another school, and there were threats of violence against that school on social media. The principal had urged parents not to bring their students to school that day, but because she taught, she had taken her early. Thankfully, the boy was arrested. But this is the passion play that our children see play out every day. Koki said to me, "Don't worry, Mama. We practice lockdown drills. We have plans of where to hide, under the computers, under the desks." And she said, "If you're really lucky, you'll be in PE, because that's where the really big closet is, and the teachers can then lock the door behind you." She said, "You have to be super quiet, though. You don't want the bad guy to hear you." She is 8 years old. I have now heard the too familiar refrain that we must not politicize the heinous act in Florida last week. It's just too soon. But that begs the question of when. It has been 6,882 days since Columbine. It has been 3,964 days since Virginia Tech. It has been 1,895 days since Sandy Hook, when 20 elementary children were slaughtered. Doing nothing is no longer an option because, let me tell y'all, folks, it can't get any worse than it is right now. Doing nothing has resulted in a world where lockdown drills in elementary schools and churchgoers being slaughtered in the most sanctified of spaces has become commonplace. You know what? I'm not going to acquiesce to a dogma of helplessness because, you know what? As a mother, I cannot. This past Sunday, I was reminded of the psalmist's lament. How long? How long? Today, our mothers demand an answer from us. Our children demand an answer from us. How long? Well, that depends on the men and women in this chamber. It is past time to turn thoughts into tangible action. It's past time to turn prayers into common sense gun policies that will protect our children. No doubt we will be held to account for our response, and I pray that we will be. Because if the killing of so many innocents will not change our politics, then maybe we need to change our politicians. I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Hold on. No. In the gallery, you're there to observe, even though many of us would like to clap, just to observe, not participate. Chair recognizes Senator from the 7th.
Thank you, Mr. President. This morning, we have a few individuals from South Georgia with us, and I wanted to take a moment to recognize them. Leadership Pierce and the folks from Pierce County and Blackshear, if y'all would stand up just real quick, we want to give y'all a rousing round of applause and welcome to the Georgia Senate. So if you wouldn't mind helping me welcome to the Senate.
Great to have you guys with us today. Thank you very much. Chair recognizes Senator from the 2nd. All right, moving on right along. Senator from the 34th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. I rise to give a thank you to Delta Airlines, who has agreed to keep Clayton County East Blos whole and the children's education intact. I do thank them for working with us. I was told by our delegation chair on yesterday that the governor was going to be making an announcement, which did not tell me the details of the announcement, but I thought it was about Clayton County, and it turned out to be the tax bill. So I don't know all the details yet, haven't sorted all out, but if it's moving in the right direction, I am grateful for Clayton County to be kept whole. But again, I have not seen it. So until I've seen it and see it in print and it has passed, I would then come back and say, eternally grateful. But in addition to that, it is Black History Month. And today I wanted to chronicle one of the most unique and important establishment that historians rarely talk about, and that is the National Baptist Convention. When the white Southern Baptist churches refused to denounce slavery, they split from the Northern Baptist churches and made a concerted effort to keep blacks out of their churches. The National Baptist Convention USA, Inc. traced its history to a significant growth and achievement attended sometimes by periods of turbulence to Saturday, November 22nd, 1880, when 151 persons from 11 states met in Montgomery, Alabama, and organized the Baptist Foreign Mission Convention. The Reverend W.H. McAlpine of Alabama was elected as its first president. 6 years later, in 1886, 600 delegates from 17 states gathered at the First Baptist Church in St. Louis, Missouri, and formed the National Baptist Convention of America. 7 years later, in 1893, the National Baptist Education Convention was formed. In 1895, a meeting attended by more than 2,000 clergy were held in Atlanta, Georgia, at Friendship Baptist Church, just down the street from my home church, Antioch Baptist Church North. The three largest conventions of the day, the Baptist Foreign Missionary Convention, the American National Baptist Convention, and the National Baptist Education Convention, merged to form the National Baptist Convention of the United States of America.
Time.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll yield and come back tomorrow to finish this historic event.
Chair recognizes Senator from the 2nd. Second, you wish to be recognized, Senator from the 2nd. Savannah. Chatham County.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to recognize St. Leo University is with us today. St. Leo has a master's degree in Human Services, a group of fine citizens out to do the people's work. We have Dr. Wilson and Dr. Woods in the gallery with us today. I just want to thank them for their fine work, thank them for what they do for the great state of Georgia.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes Senator 27th on a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today after listening to many of the remarks. You know, I wear many hats like the senator from the 6th, and the most important one that I wear is very similar. It's that of being a father. I have a 19-year-old, a 17-year-old that just graduated from public schools. I have a 13-year-old daughter that's a freshman in high school, and I have a young 7-month-old that in about 5 years will be attending public school. As we look at the situation that we find ourselves in as a nation, there are more guns per capita 50 years ago than there are today. The issue we have is not access to guns. The issue that we have is a societal issue. We have more mass shootings in our school, but yet we don't have prayer. Where are our families? Where are our morals and our beliefs? Violence is glamorized in today's society. If we really want to address the issues that are going on in our schools, we have to address our societal issues that our children are facing day in and day out, with the music they listen to, the TV shows and the movies they watch, and what they see on the internet. We can take guns away, but that will not eliminate the violence that plagues our society. I love my family. I know all of you love your family. And I hope that we can have an honest dialogue about what is truly plaguing our country and our society. And with that, Mr. President, I yield the well.
Senator from the 15th, you wish to be recognized. You're recognized this time.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise this morning on a point of personal privilege for Black History Month. I rise to tell you a story about a man that many of you likely haven't heard, and about a group that many of you have not heard. This is the story of the first African-American U.S. Army Rangers who served the United States during the Korean War. These brave men have not received the recognition they deserve, and I intend to do everything I can to honor that service to our country. And today, I do that by sharing that story with you all. The 126 men of the 2nd Airborne Ranger Company fought in Korea from Christmas Day of 1950 to the fall of 1951. They are the first, last, and only all-black Ranger Company in U.S. history. Today, there's only one living officer of the 2nd Airborne Ranger Company remaining. Proving yourself as an African-American Ranger in that era was easier said than done because of racial tension during that time. These men had to do double the work to prove that they were worthy of being an Army Ranger. But doing double the work to only get half a step ahead was something these men were used to, and though they were unfairly treated, they served our country nonetheless. The men of the 2nd Airborne Ranger Company were fighting to preserve American values and freedom, while at home their freedom was beaten down, literally. Determined to ensure their story was not forgotten, several men from the company wrote a book to share their experiences in Korea. One of the last surviving soldiers of that unit and an author of the book is from Georgia. His name is Daniel Boatwright from Keysville. Ranger Boatwright is an example of why I strive to do everything I can to make Georgia the best place for veterans to live. It is because of people like him that we can live, work, and enjoy life without a care in the world, mostly. The reason I'm telling you about this story is to remind each and every one of us that there are many pioneers in the civil rights movement who have not gotten the recognition they deserve. But for the young black men and women of Georgia and the United States, we must keep their legacy alive. Continue to do everything within our power to make sure their stories are told. It is not without great sacrifice from our forebears that we can stand here today. And it is not without more sacrifice that we can reach true equality. I would like to thank the men of the 2nd Airborne Army Ranger Company for their dedication and sacrifice to the United States of America. Without you, many of us would not have the privilege of being in this chamber today in a free America. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. You have a consent calendar of privileged resolutions that is before you. Is there objection? Without objection, the consent calendar of privileged resolutions are therefore adopted. Are there any motions to withdraw or commit? We do have a local consent calendar. Mr. Secretary, are there any objections filed on any of the bills on the local consent calendar?
Mr. President, there are no objections filed.
Is there objection agreeing to Porter Committee on the State and Local Governmental Operations, which fair will pass the bill? Chairs none. The Porter Committee is agreed to. All those in favor of the local consent calendar will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Secretary, unlock the machine. Moving on the passage of the bill, the yeas are 52, the nays are 0, and the local consent calendar is therefore adopted. Moving on to the general calendar, Secretary will read SR 685.
Senate Resolution 685 by Senator Jackson II and others. A resolution renaming the bed of tidewater on the Georgia coast known as Runaway Negro Creek to Freedom Creek and for other purposes. Now therefore be resolved and enacted by the General Assembly of Georgia that the entire length of the bed of tidewater on the Georgia coast at latitude 31.976666030 and longitude negative 81.0462222 and for other, a portion of which along the edge of Skidaway Island State Park shall be renamed and known as Freedom Creek. Be it further resolved that the Division of Archives and History of the University System of Georgia as the state's names authority and for other purposes. That concludes
Chair
the order.
recognizes Senator from the 2nd to present the bill. Please give Senator your attention.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I bring before you Senate Resolution 685. This is a very simple resolution. It renames the entire length of the bed of tidewater as Freedom Creek. It's currently known as Runaway Negro Creek. This bed of tidewater resides in Chatham County. It connects Skidaway Island with Isla Hope. I urge your support for this simple resolution. It's good for the state. It's good for the people of Georgia.
No question, Senator.
Thank you.
Any other senator wish to speak for or against the resolution? Is there objection? Agreeing to Porter Committee, which fair will pass the bill. All those in favor of the resolution will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the resolution, the yeas are 51, nays are 0, and this resolution, having received requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. Secretary will read Senate Bill 319.
Senate Bill 319 by Senator Alberts, the 56th, and others, a bill entitled an act to enact the Consolidation of Fire Safety Services in Georgia Act and for other purposes. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Public Safety offers the following substitute Senate Bill 319, a bill entitled an act to enact the Consolidation of Fire Safety Services in Georgia Act for other purposes. That concludes the order.
Chair recognizes the distinguished Public Safety Committee Chairman, Senator from the 56th, to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to begin by thanking you, our Lieutenant Governor, for your great support of the firefighters throughout the state of Georgia, as well as Governor Deal and all the members of this body. Senate Bill 319 seeks to help take the disparate parts of the fire service statewide and bring them together. Today, we're in 3 different areas. This will allow to consolidate that in order to increase communication, but ultimately to better serve our fire departments throughout the state to be very customer service focused. So this will be taking the fire marshal's office out from underneath the insurance commissioner's office and put it under the executive branch, similar to the GBI, GMA, State Patrol, and the list goes on. I want to thank specifically my friends from all the different areas of the fire service and the Firefighters Association, Fire Chiefs Association, the boards, the standards, and training group, GIPSTIC, and everyone for coming together with great consensus. We are going to make a couple of tweaks with this bill in the House, and we've got great agreement on that and great compromise, and I believe we have everybody unanimous in supporting it this time. If there are no questions, Mr. President, I will yield the will.
There are no questions. Questions on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection? Without objection, committee substitute is adopted. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the bill? Is there objection? Agree to report of committee which fail pass the bill. Chairs none. Report of committee is agreed to. All those in favor of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 49 and the nays are 3. But this bill still has requisite constitutional majority and is therefore adopted. Secretary will read Senate Bill 364.
Senate Bill 364 by Senator Huffstetler, 52nd, and others, a bill entitled enactment code section 43, 34, 103 of the OCJ relating a delegation of authority to physician assistants so as to authorize a higher supervisory ratio for physician assistants who have completed a board-approved anesthesiologist assistant program and for other purposes. That concludes the order.
Chair now recognizes the senator from the 52nd present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill is a cleanup bill from last year when we changed it for the nurses. This will be the same for the physician assistants. It only changes the sponsorship ratio, makes it go from 4 to 8. It does not change the supervision. They still will only supervise any 4 at one time. Passed unanimously out of the Health Committee. There is no opposition. If there's no questions, I'll yield the well.
Hold on. You got it? Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the bill? Is there objection? Agree in the Porter Committee which fail pass to the bill. Chairs none. Porter Committee is agreed to. All those in favor of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the pass of the bill, the yeas are 51, the nays are 0. This bill, MC requires a constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. The Secretary will read Senate Bill 365.
Senate Bill 365 by Senator Ligon III and others, a bill entitled an act to amend the OCGA so as to revise, modernize, correct errors or omissions in and reenact the statutory portion of said code as amended in furtherance of the work of the Code Revision Commission to repeal portions of said code or acts and amendment thereof which have become obsolete, which have been declared to be unconstitutional or have been preempted or superseded by subsequent laws and for other purposes. That concludes the order.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 3rd to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Each year, our law requires us to reenact and make corrections to the official code of Georgia. That's what this does. This year, they're mainly, well, they're all errors in spelling and punctuation. So unless there are any questions, Mr. President, I yield the well.
No question, Senator. Any other senator wish to speak for or against the bill? Is there objection? Agree in the Porter Committee which failed pass the bill. Chairs none. Porter Committee is agreed to. Shall the main question be now put? Are there any objections? Chairs none. Main question is ordered. All those in favor of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Secretary will unlock the machine. If I could have a sense of attention while we're voting in the gallery, I'd like to recognize someone that used to be over here to my left, running the board, doing a great job in the office of Secretary of the Senate, but she has moved on to bigger and better things. Amy Krieg up there in the gallery, please give her a round of applause. She is still looking from on high all the activities that are going on in the Senate. And I'm sure I've embarrassed her once again. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 52 and the nays are 0. And this bill, MC Rex constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. The chair recognizes the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, I would ask unanimous consent that the rules be suspended to allow, I think it's another 6 or 7 bills that have been filed during session today to be read. First readings. Thank you.
Is there objection for suspending with the rules so the bills can be read? Huh? No, did we? Okay, hold on. Approach. Chair recognizes Senator from the 41st. 41st. No, he's, yeah.
Mr. President, members of the Senate, I will withdraw my objection to these bills coming through. But as you know, it's late in the session, or it's getting that way. And when we have these bills come forward, I ask from both parties, majority and minority party, if they will let the caucus chair or the minority whip, the presiding officer is a member of the majority party. And often you know what bills are coming forward on these unanimous consents or to suspend the rules. We don't. And so if you don't talk to us ahead of time, from now on I'll be objecting to waiving the rules or suspending the rules because we don't know what's going on, and in the fast-paced atmosphere of what's going on here, it may be something that is unintended, doesn't do the good things for the people, or politically might negatively impact some of my members. So it's not that we're trying to be hard to work with. We're not. We're just trying to represent people in our districts. So if you have an issue that you want to suspend the rules or do something like this, we would ask some consideration, at least give a heads up. Agree or disagree, then we can debate it on the floor, but we won't have to take that time up to debate it if we can all come to some understanding before the actions occur. So I'll withdraw my objection and I'll yield the well.
Is there objection? I think the senator, the minority leader is not objecting. Is there objection? Without objection, the bills will be read for the first time and assigned.
Senate Bill 463 by Senator Dugan of the 30th and others, a bill titled
Economic Development.
Senate Bill 464 by Senator Williams of the 27th and others, a bill titled Enactment Code Section 48.
Finance Committee.
Senate Bill 465 by Senator Black of the 8th and others, a bill titled Enactment Chapter 4 of Title 7 of the OCGA relating to industry and usury so as to exempt any charge for a letter of credit from being classified as an interest, to provide for related matters, provide for an effective date, to repeal the clause.
Banking Committee.
Senate Bill 466 by Senator Butler of the 55th and others, a bill titled Enactment.
Judy.
Senate Bill 467 by Senator Martin of the 9th and others, a bill titled Enactment Chapter 24.
Insurance and Labor.
Senate Bill 468 by Senator Anderson of the 24th and others, a bill titled Enactment Article 1 of Chapter 80 of Title 36 of the OCGA relating to general provisions applicable to counties, municipal corporations, and other government entities, so as to provide for certain disclosures from consultants and other contractors who enter into contracts or arrangements.
The Great State of Georgia Committee. Slogo General.
Senate Bill 469 by Senator Bass of the 28th and others, a bill titled Enactment Chapter 60 Title 36 of the OCGA relating
Slogo General.
Senate Resolution 885.
Transportation.
That completes the order.
And guess what else? Completes our day. Chair recognizes Senator from the 46th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate stand adjourned until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Read the announcements.
Rules will meet upon adjournment at 4:50 of the Capitol. Insurance and Labor will meet at 1 p.m. and 3:10 of the CLB. Public Safety will meet at 1 p.m. in Mez 1. Urban Affairs will meet at 2 p.m. and 1:25 of the Capitol. Transportation will meet at 2 p.m. and 3:10 of the CLB. Education and Youth will meet at 3 p.m. and 4:50 of the Capitol. Finance will meet at 3 p.m. in Mez 1. Judiciary will meet at 4 p.m. and 3:07 of the CLB. That concludes the order.
Let me also remind everyone that tomorrow is the state of the judiciary. We will have a joint session, obviously, with a joint session with the House to welcome the judiciary. The majority leader has moved. Senate stand adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. Ayes clearly have it. We stand adjourned.